Welcome back to another rendition of Floral Foolishness.
Sports.
Oh yeah, where it's always island time. We're actually on double island time now. We started an episode and then it got disconnected.
Got 12
Compliments.
minutes in. All right.
Oh yeah. Compliments of the fine city of Rock Hill's utility services. Uh, Rock Hill. You want electricity? What the fuck is that? So,
Thanks, Hurricane Debbie. It's not even a real name for a hurricane. You're
Debbie's
gonna
are
name a hurricane. It needs
saints.
to be like, and this is actually, I'm just gonna roll into my opening statement here. It's a different one than we talked about in the previous one. Hurricane names are terrible. Katrina is a horrible name for a devastating hurricane. That sounds like the nicest lady ever. I knew one Katrina in my life. She was an athletic trainer and just a phenomenal human being. If we're gonna have like hurricanes that are like destroying shit, we need to give them like serious names. Like this is Hurricane Bruiser. Hurricane Basher's coming in. This is Hurricane Dump Truck coming down on the Gulf Coast.
Hurricane Mike Truck.
Hurricane Mike Truck. Hurricane Mike Truck.
Oh yeah, the Hurricane Mike Truck.
That
Yeah,
Hurricane Bob's and Dug Nucks hitting Miami hard right now. So
Bobson.
yeah, no, we're way better off on round two here. This is a much better opening statement. Yeah, no, Hurricane Sharknado coming through, that I can get behind. Like I'd be like, shit, Hurricane Sharknado's coming through. I'm not gonna leave my house for 6 days. Hurricane Debbie's coming through. I'm like, dude, give me 7 feet of flooding. I'll drive through that. We'll be fine. What's it gonna do? Bake me cookies?
We riding around, we getting it in Hurricane Debbie. Yeah. No. I think there's something to that. Like, there's a lot of people that don't take hurricanes seriously.
Why
You
do you
know.
think?
Yeah.
And honestly, maybe the severity of the name comes down to what category of hurricane it is. Like this is like a category one hurricane, so all it does is rain. So you want to do that? That's like this is like Hurricane Ocelot. You go like
Mhm.
a category five, this is like Hurricane. Oh my fuck, everybody get out. And you're like, that's coming into town. Jeez, everybody's vacating it right now. So you know it's a category five.
Yeah. You just see it like when it comes up. Hurricane Hitler, it's like, oh fuck, evacuate now.
I would leave the United States. I would go to Asia right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a good opening statement. Yeah, that's normally how we start off the show. So fuck the intros. Welcome to the show. I'm Stoczy. That's Wrangler. That was his opening statement. I too am going to try and go in a different direction for this one. Um, so was in Denver the past week. It was pretty fun. Um, went and saw the Foo Fighters in at Mile High. Awesome venue. Um, the staff there sucked. Got kind of assaulted by one of their like security guards, but that's a different story for a different day. What I do want to talk about is I want to confirm something that I saw on the internet that they were kind of like it might have happened, we might have not. Dave Grohl came out, um, with an acoustic guitar to give his guys a break. Um, and started to play Tenacious D's best song in the world.
Hell yeah.
Um, and he didn't know the lyrics 100%. Like he got through the first little part of it, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'll fucking know the lyrics to this shit, man."
That's
It
awesome.
it was fantastic. If you haven't seen the Foo Fighters live, go and fucking see them. This is my second time seeing them, and both times have been just the best. They are performers. It's insane. Like, I just want to know how much water weight is in Dave Grohl's shirt after one of those uh like shows. Just
Yeah, absolutely.
because after every other song it seemed like people were like throwing gallons of water on him. So, which I get. I mean, it was fuck 98 degrees.
Yeah,
So,
no, that sounds about right. Yeah, Denver weirdly is actually a desert. People don't know this about it because it's not sandy, but it is actually classified as a desert, and so it gets fucking hot there in the summers.
yeah, it's high desert. Yeah, and it's kind of weird too. Like we'll go a little bit south to Albuquerque, about 6 hours down South Drive. Um, they get snow there. People
Yep.
don't realize that.
Well, New Mexico has Taos, which is literally a ski resort, which people don't realize. It's so far up in the mountains that like they literally have their own ski. It's not big.
Mm-hmm.
It's a couple slopes, but it's on Icon. Like it's actually like a legitimate ski resort.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In the northeast corner of the state, it's a fine place to go. Got a couple good breweries there as well.
Hell yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, definitely a big fan of it. Um, God damn, I'm gonna say it again because it was just too fucking funny after the first
You
time.
have to at this point.
Yeah. Um, so, um, here was the opening statement from part one that is lost to the ether. Um, Daredevil might be the best movie of all time. The 2003 rendition, okay?
The fact that Nick Cage wasn't the star of it is mind-blowing for that movie.
Oh my god, dude! If if you could get Nick Cage in there somehow, like as an enemy, God, could you imagine Nick Cage as fucking Big Boss? Oh my god, just give
No,
him a
I
fat
would.
suit. That would be so great. But
How is he beating me without his eyes?
oh god. Here's something that wasn't said in there. Daredevil in that movie, played by one Mr. Ben Affleck. Apparently his superpower, like above all else, is smelling Jennifer Gardner from very long distances away. Because every time he comes up and she's like, "Oh, you scared me. How'd you find me?" He just go. That was a sniffing motion for those of you
What
listening at
does she
home.
smell like? A 700 credit score. Thanks, Capital One.
That's your spokesperson. Oh god. Oh
Get the
god.
Capital One Venture card. If your credit score is over 700, you see Ben Affleck just.
Oh yeah. There you go. That's why you tune into this show for the fucking nose sound effects. Um, so that's one of the many fine aspects of this. But there are two that I mentioned before, and I'm going to mention again. God damn it. So whoever edited this needs to be awarded a Tony, a Grammy, an Oscar, the Nobel Peace Prize, which was named after the guy who created dynamite. Um, and others like like your high school fucking participation trophy, what, all of them.
Yeah.
Whoever edited this fine masterpiece needs to be given all of it. Mostly because of the editing, which an editor does. So you should have followed that along. We
Well,
also drank two in the first part, so this is going to be extra fun.
I've been going since 3 o'clock. Let's rage.
Let's fucking go. So, we, with that being said, Jay, tell them who Simple Jack is.
There's a movie called Tropic Thunder, and in said movie, Ben Stiller's actor character plays another character in a different movie. And we'll just say, if you're going to be simple, you never go full simple. That's not the way to go. You don't go overly simple if you're going to play someone who is simple.
All right, so let's call a spade here. He made Forrest Gump look like a Mensa bulletin recipient. Okay.
Yeah,
If you don't know
accurate.
what that is, go back to your Lego. It's fine.
Also accurate.
So anyways, but one of the things that Simple Jack does is he has the fucking crazy eyes when he goes all um mentally disabled. And so uh Ben Affleck does that a lot, as in every time he takes off his mask, his eyes are going in seven different directions and they're blue, and that's fun. But anyway, so it kind of scares the crap out of you sometimes when they show them because you're not ready for it. It's like, and so, and also be very drunk for this. All right, like self case
That's most
race.
movies we discuss on this show.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So, anyways, there's a part in the movie where Evanescence song "Wake Me Up" comes on, and at the part where it goes, all this time I can't believe I couldn't see. Uh, there's Daredevil without his mask, clearly not seeing, and it
Oh, just like the
freezes.
song says.
Yeah, just like it freezes for an uncomfortable 2 seconds. It's like, did you hear it? We did it. I fucking did that. That's what you think while you're waiting for this shot to get off screen, because in 2024 you cannot laugh at that. but when you're
Oh, yes,
fucking
you
pissed
can.
drunk, yeah, you will. So anyways, that's one part. And then the other part that's definitely worth mentioning is there's this one part where Daredevil is just beating the ever loving shit out of this dude. It is Mike Tyson versus the grocery cart attendant at your local supermarket. Okay. And
So Mike
Tyson,
Tyson versus Simple Jack, basically, is what you're saying.
basically. And so Daredevil finishes like demolishing this dude and then like looks over to the left and it is clearly that person's son standing there. And Matt Murdock, in all of his infinite wisdom, decides to say, "Kid, I'm not the bad guy here." Yes, you fucking are the bad guy here. Holy
This
shit.
criminal genius is just trying to make money to raise his family. All right.
And yeah.
So I'll raise you a question here. So in this scenario, fucking Big Boss is Nicky Cage. What's his end line at the end of this movie when he's defeated by Daredevil and he's like, "Oh no, Blast, you've beaten me." What's Nicky Cage's end line? Because I've got a couple in mind that I think fit.
I didn't see that coming.
I'd like to think we can take some of his other movies and put them together here so he can basically just basically market for himself and he'd go, "The bees may have taken your eyes, but they haven't taken your ability to kick ass."
It cuts away to Matt Murdock. It kicks back, and Nicky Cage is in his full outfit from the movie Kick Ass.
I
That's
also
right.
think
It's
a really
bad,
good one.
Daddy.
I also think a really good one would be if he gets his ass handed to him and he just looks up and as he's like dying, he's like, "Huh, the real national treasure here is rights for the handicapped."
uh, oh god. The only other line that's coming to mind would not make any sense is from The Rock with Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Uh, where Nicky Cage is like, "Well, it's you. You're the Rocket Man." And then fucking launches the rocket and the guy goes off. It's a fantastic movie. Um,
It is. It is.
but yeah, I mean, earlier on, when he traps Daredevil, he could be like, "Well, Mr. Murdoch, it looks like you're caught between the rock and a hard place." Wasn't even his line in that movie, but it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of his recent movies because he makes 50 a year. Most of them are fucking unwatchable, but he did one a couple years ago. I think it was called like Dig or something like that. Basically, he was a pig farmer who dug truffles, and the whole plot of the movie was his pig got stolen, his truffle finding pig, and he had to basically Liam Neeson get it back. And so I just like to think that like Daredevil would show up and he'd be like, "Hello, Mr. Murdoch. Are you looking for truffles? I mean trouble."
Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Oh man. Okay, so welcome to the show. Obviously, we do dumb things, have a couple of sports segments, but every once in a while we say something that's halfway smart. That's what
Hell
I've
yeah.
been told. I don't believe it, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, buddy. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to talk about an event that millions upon millions, if not billions, have watched across the globe. I'm not one of them. The games of the 33rd Olympiad are now in full force. And while France may be a lackluster country that once had a Nazi flag or flown over it, and we saved their ass, you're welcome. It was, it's from all accounts, it's been pretty good. Yeah, no, minus
Yep.
the sexless beds, minus people not understanding what the opening ceremony was about. There's been some cool,
Gojira.
there's been some cool acts. Yeah, it's been, from everything I hear, it's fun. Yeah. So as we are closing in on the end of the 2 week event, the U.S. leads in total medals at 94, with the gold medal count sitting at 27. So through 2 weeks, what are your best stories from the games so far? We got a part two to this question. We'll get to that in a second. But what are your best stories from the games so far?
I've got a few that I'd like to go on, most of which have nothing to do with the actual sport. So first off, I'd like to talk about the difference between women's and men's soccer. Women's soccer, basically, FIFA says we don't care, do whatever the hell you want to do. So there is no restrictions on who can play on a women's national team. If you're from that country in any regard, go play for them. Men's soccer, FIFA says no, 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 no. Oh no, Gypsy. We have investments in this game, and so we can't risk our best players getting hurt for some silly piece of $950 goal. So you have to play U23 on the men's side. Now, what's weird about this is you're allowed three exceptions. So that means the US, for example, has their U23 team, minus the fact that they're starting center back, Walker Zimmerman, who's 33 years old. So one of the things that I saw was that because it's in France, Kylian Mbappe said, "Hey, France, I want to be one of your three exceptions. I dominate people who are the best of the world. I want to go ahead and score 12 goals a game in the Olympics." Real Madrid, as a club, because they have his rights, FIFA says you guys have the right to choose what you want to do. If you want to let your investment go, let them go. If you don't, don't. Real Madrid said, "Sorry, Kylian, don't care us in France. You don't get to play."
Wow, next time he's a free agent, he is leaving Real Madrid now.
Yep. So, I guess my first topic that I think is entertaining is the U.S. men's U23 team with 33-year-old Walker Zimmerman made it to the medal rounds. And by medal rounds, I mean the quarterfinals, the knockout rounds, and then got rocked by Morocco for nothing. It was bad, bad. But kudos to the US U23 team. We didn't use our exceptions on anybody halfway decent. The three players we chose are mediocre at best. Busio was injured. Cade Cowell didn't even get picked for the team. And so yeah, despite not even having our best U23s, we're still in a pretty good spot.
Wow, that is saying something.
We also had a U21 team or a U20 team, which Cowell's 20. He didn't get picked for that either. So fuck you, USA. Anyway, second important story that I'd like to talk about for a minute is about a young lady by the name of Luana Alonso, who is a Paraguayan swimmer. She's entertaining for a lot of different reasons. Now, backstory on Miss Alonso, she currently swims at SMU in Dallas, Texas. Big football school, swimmer there, NCAA, whatever. Anyway, she's important for a couple different reasons. One is that in her swimming meets, she did not make the finals. She got knocked out in either the quarters or the semis. I want to say the semis. She finished sixth place, which, okay, respectable. You're 20 years old. Good for you. She then proceeded to retire from international swimming after she lost at 20 years old, which is interesting for a few reasons. One, Paraguay doesn't have a strong Olympic swimming team, so it's not like she's going to get replaced anytime soon. She could represent Paraguay until she was 40 if she wanted to. Two, also interesting that at 20 years old, you finish sixth in the semis. That's not bad. You're still a collegiate swimmer, swimming competitively every day. In theory, by the time you're 24 and they're in LA, you're already living in the US, you should be better than you are now. Interesting decision, interesting route to go. The other reason I want to talk about Miss Alonso, though, is she managed to get herself kicked out of Olympic Village, which is tough to do.
Well, it's in France, so
The decision came down to the Paraguayan Association. Per Paraguay, there's two reasons behind why she was kicked out of this village. One is instead of wearing the Paraguayan mandated robes that they give them, which are basically like a tracksuit, she chose to wear, quote, skimpy clothing that was not allowed per the Paraguayan Association. Two, and the more important reason, I suppose, instead of staying at the Olympic Village to support her Paraguayan teammates in I don't even know what sport because I don't think they've medaled in anything, she instead chose to, quote, go out on the town and go to Disney World, France. Because of that, Paraguay said, "You're a terrible teammate and you dress like a slut. Get out of here, devil. You're gone, scorpion woman." And she was kicked out of Olympic Village after having retired a week earlier. So yeah, so that was great. Um,
wow. So, and probably all of this occurred well before that. So she had her shit back, like, oh, you're going to kick me out of the place I'm already out of? Deuces.
yeah.
Good for her. Good for her. And bad on Paraguay. What the fuck is that?
Sixth in the semi is respectable for a country who doesn't win at anything. So, we got to pick and choose our battles here. Paraguay chose not to. I'll come back to this gentleman in a minute here because he's important. We'll get to our next part of this topic. But um, I think for me, really the only other thing that I would talk about for a minute here is kudos to young Olympians. I think there's a lot of like U.S. just won a gold medal in wrestling from a 20-year-old female who hasn't lost a match since 2019. Kudos to her. Noah Lyles, fastest man in the world again since Usain's retired. But what I want to talk about for a second here comes back to track and field, and I think it's very interesting. In 2020, the Tokyo Olympics, Sha'Carri Richardson, who's a female sprinter, very, very fast young lady from Texas, was banned from the Tokyo Games because she tested positive for marijuana. Not a performance enhancing drug. Arguably, it's a performance decreasing, dehancing drug. But they said, nope, nope, nope. You're not allowed to come run because you take the devil's lettuce. So, how do we respond to that in 2024, where Miss Richardson is back, allowed to run again, running well, doing her job? What do we say in response to that? Who do we have host the Olympic Games? Not making this up. Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg has been at every night of the Paris Olympics. He hung out with our women's water polo team. Last night, apparently, the women's synchronized swim team, their synchronized swim dance was to a Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre song. And he didn't know because he didn't go to it. They showed it to him on Gold Zone, and he's like, "Oh, hey, that's my song." Da 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 da. And he's like, "Clearly the judges don't know what they're talking about. That's a gold medal routine right there." Anyway, where I'm going with this. In 2020, Sha'Carri Richardson can't run because of pot, and now Snoop Dogg is our host. What are we doing? Like, legitimately, what are we doing?
Yeah, yeah, wow. You put that two and two together, that's not a great picture, is it?
It's two and two makes 12, you know?
No, you cannot compete in the sport you've been training for the past 20 years. 4 years later,
Snoop
Snoop
Dogg!
Doggy Dogg.
Na na na
Holy.
na na.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's a really good take on that. That's a really good take. Um, so I think the best stories from the game so far, and I'm going off the rails on this one because, as I said, I haven't watched. Um, there are reasons for that, but I think there are two really good things to come from the game so far. Number one, over the past week, and you kind of teed this one up pretty well. I've noticed that a number of schools up in the New England region have started adding women's varsity wrestling, which I think, hey, you know what?
Hey, let's go.
If we just meddled in that, that's not a bad idea, you know. I know that
Not at
it's
all.
going to be a whole Title IX thing for them, but at the same time, why the hell not? We're dominating now. Let's build up a pipeline for 28, you know. So that's pretty cool. The
Let's
second
go.
thing, the second thing that I think is for me personally, the best byproduct of the Olympic Games is I'm now excited for NASCAR again because it hasn't been on for 2 weeks.
Just wait until, because like the Olympics basically like modifies every single sport out there. So just wait until like 2028 when they decide out of the blue they're going to add their version of NASCAR, which is like 12 cars, but all of them you basically have to like bobsled style push it for the first lap, and then you can drive for three before you have to get out and push it again.
Wow. Oh, we have the perfect guy for that. Michael McDowell. Dude's a fucking horse.
Let's
Telling you.
go.
Yeah. So NASCAR's Olympics 2028. Let's fucking make it happen. All right. So that's part one. So part two is what other sports do you think could or what other sports do you personally think you could dominate in an unorthodox way and how and explain your background to the folks because that's kind of the lead up to this discussion.
Yeah. So this guy, he's from Turkey. He has a very Turkish name, so I'm not going to try to butcher it. So the Olympics are very specialized in the sports that they sponsor. They are very specialized in the protection that they use, in the equipment that they use, all of these things. This gentleman rolls up with a normal pair of glasses, no safety glasses, no ear protection, no gloves. He's literally wearing a shirt that says Turkey and has his hand tucked into his pocket, which is a pair of jeans. This gentleman proceeds to Jason Bourne style, just snipe some targets, and in shooting wins a silver medal. Arguably, because if he had won the gold, it would have let them on to the fact that he was a world-class assassin. They then interviewed the guy after, and basically, in the most Turkey's a third world country way ever, he was basically like, "Yeah, so I got divorced and I got really angry, and so I took up shooting, and now I want a medal. So here we are." So the backstory of this question basically comes down to how can you be this guy? How can you dominate an event that everybody else takes super seriously? And you're just like, oh, pow, 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 silver.
Yeah, so that's the lead up and where this idea came from. So, what event? And you know what? We'll open it up if you want to do winter games too. You can.
I like it.
What event do you think you would dominate in an unorthodox way, and how?
So the first one I want to talk about here, and we can just bounce back and forth. I've been watching a lot of track and field because that's like the focus of the games lately since they started. And one thing that I've noticed is track and field athletes, and I'm not a sprinter, so I'm not trying to say that I know what a sprinter's lifestyle is. If you're in a prelim, not a final, and you're winning by a decent amount, you let up the last 20, 30, 40 meters and don't go 100%. To me, as somebody who plays team sports, that seems a little bit ridiculous. I feel like sprinting an extra 30 meters isn't going to be the difference between you winning a gold medal 2 rounds later or not. So if I'm doing this, I'm probably still gonna have all the same gear they do, although instead of wearing their weird like Speedo onesies that they wear, I'm probably just gonna wear a pair of like gym shorts and like a t-shirt. But when I win, not only am I gonna sprint, so say I'm doing the 100 or 200 meter, not only am I gonna sprint all the way through, but it's I think the track's like 800 meters, somewhere in there, 1,000 meters. I'm going to do a full lap all the way around after I win the 100 meter at full speed and get back to the starting line before I stop running.
I like that. I like that. You're going way through the end there. I love it.
Yep, just letting them know. Just letting them know why I won.
So peacocking. Wow, his second lap was better than his first. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's go. Okay, so my first submission for this segment is and I want you to get this song Randorian in your head, you know, that kind of French song that was in oh, what the hell was that movie? With it was from Nolan, Inception. That
Yep.
one song that they play to kick everybody out. Just have that going through your head right now when I say this, and I think that I could 100% cheat code this game and bring home a medal. And it's called artistic swimming, mostly because they would not expect a like close to 300-pound white dude going in there and making water fountains everywhere solo.
I
Yup.
like it. I
Yup.
like it.
There you go. What you got next?
All right. I think another one that's really important here when we talk about just the landscape of the Olympic Games in general is curling. If we're going to the Winter Games for a minute here. Curling, basically the way it works is you take a broom and you just sweep as it goes down. Not only am I doing this in a maid outfit just to make myself more aerodynamic, but I'm taking a Swiffer wet jet and I'm doing it with that, and that shit's flying all the way down the ice and knocking everything out of there. Swiffer wet jet for the win.
And you'll know when he's out there because all you're going to hear is, I clean.
You throw it clean.
MVP, MV clean. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, that's a good one. I this one's pretty obvious, but I'm still going to submit it. Flag football. I'm going to play tackle football.
I like it.
Well, welcome to Thunderdome. I'm going to come out with a 56 Terry Tate jersey on, just office linebacker these fools.
I like it. I like it. Um, so thinking back to swimming for a minute here. One of the things I've noticed about swimming is that every single swimmer comes out and they basically come out in like a parka. I don't know if you've ever seen the intros to swimming, but they literally come out in like a parka and like a winter hat and
Mm-hmm.
like they're
To keep
bundled
them
the hell
warm.
up.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And then like after the race, they get into like a hot tub for a little bit. It's excessive. And you're world class athletes. I understand there's a certain point of taking care of your body, but in this guy's style, what I'm doing is I'm coming out in a pair of like American flag swim trunks with full
Now,
beard.
are they a la Borat style?
No, we're going the opposite route. They're a
Mm.
la like fat Italian guy in a New Jersey beach style, that they're just huge, my ass crack showing a little bit. And
Yes.
then coming out to like I don't even know if you get to pick your own songs. If you don't, I'm gonna take my own boombox, just playing like I'm a Real American by Hulk Hogan. And as I'm walking out, just in that, with like a wife beater on, ready to take that off, and like a ball cap, I'm just gonna go ahead and walk out and then put that, obviously, the boombox right behind my starting block and keep these swim trunks on. So while everybody else with their like fully shaved everywhere body and their like skin tight Speedo, I'm just Michael Phelps style beating you in a pair of swim trunks with a full beard, and I'm a Real American playing in the background, so you know who beat you.
Very good. Do you have any others? I'm fresh out. Nope, that's it. So, yeah, get ready to get beat by some fucking Italian dude who's rocking some American shit and
Yep,
blasting some jams for not
yep,
just you, but everybody to get crunk to.
everybody. Yeah.
Everybody up in here. Speaking of getting crunk to some things, I think it's
Oh yeah.
time for the Nardowick Poetry Slam. And I'm just going to preface this. I'm going a little bit different this week. And by a little, I mean very different. So, as always, Jay, what you got for the people for the Nardowick Poetry Slam?
I've got a song this week by a gentleman by the name of 42 Doug with two G's.
Ooh!
Yep, 42 Doug. Um, and it's called NPO. And it's also featuring a young lady who's been on our Poetry Slam multiple time, Sexy Red with two X's.
Yeah.
Um, and so this song goes, and I quote, and let's see, we'll start with verse one, which is 42 Doug. Um, that paddock back, them paddocks back. Bad word, my Richard back, them bitches back. These bad word mad, I got their bitches. I'm trippin', bay. I'm trickin', bay. I'm with it, bay. You need summon? Come get it, bay. These bad words here, them sticks in here. The coach around, don't make us blitz in here. Chanel bag, Chanel link with pearls on it. I don't care how much it cost. I said my girl want it. Free that bitch, free that bitch. We know your bad word told. What you paying? How much you want, and can you get them gone? That doesn't rhyme at all. We've been in the Louis store. My bitch won't put no Fendi on. And then we go to 42 Doug and Sexy Red together, and it goes to the chorus. I ain't got no panties on. Ain't got no panties on. Business what I'm standing on. Plus, bitch, that cannon on. She ain't got no panties on. Ain't got no panties on. She ain't got no panties on the dance floor. Ain't got no panties on. Ain't got no panties on. And then Sexy Red has verse two, which is even better. She goes, I ain't
Well,
got
hold on,
no
hold on,
panties
hold on.
on. Let that coochie show.
I really hope that 42 Doug um had to emphasize that.
42 Doug Bobnut.
Oh God, no, he's not that cool. But I hope he had to emphasize that he wasn't wearing panties at that verse.
Well, apparently, according to the chorus, they said it together. So arguably, neither he nor Sexy Red is.
Yeah.
Although Sexy Red is about to drive that fact home when she says, I ain't got no panties on, let that coochie show. Throw that ass back, twerk it in his face slow. GG grabbed them leggings on with a fat camel toe. Had it on my wrist, hit the lights, and watch it glow. I'm a real trench bitch, cash out in
Whoa, whoa,
designer
whoa, whoa, whoa! You
stores.
need to see a
I ain't
doctor
got no
about that.
panties on. Me and bro don't get along. What's up?
You got to see a doctor about that. If that shit's glowing, fucking radioactive. What?
And then she proceeds to say, "You ain't got no money for me?" Question mark. Bitch, don't even call my phone. Ass fat, nails done, and my weave super long. You know, I love trap in words. Packs come in and we gon' get 'em gone. Big Chanel bag, my cars be super fast. Vroom. Sexy got that weird. Swerving, doing the dash. Skirt, skirt. Don't let this cute shit fool you. I still got on your ass. Me and Fortune Doug just left the mall and blew a bag, and then they go back to the chorus from there.
Mm. And I bet the second time it's how they put their panties back on and went to church.
I got panties back on. I got panties back on. PBO is actually the name of the remix to this song.
Oh man. Oh yeah. Thanks for that submission. Yeah, some real good poetry slam. So one form of I guess I don't know. I've never been to a real poetry slam before. Just the like 20 or so that we've done here. So I assume that this is a thing that they do is where they just like name things and there's just some guy in the back playing bass, just the simple bass like do do do
Yeah, a
do
little
do
bongo
do
action. I can
do.
see that.
No bongos, just the bass. No bongos are too much. That's just do 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 do. Okay, so yeah, so keep that in your mind here, listener, as we go through whatever this tomfuckery is. So this was going to be my opening statement, but I thought it would be even funnier as a Nardo Wick. So apparently, there are some marine biologists who really like dolphins and really like language and thought maybe we can translate what the fuck dolphins are saying when they're doing the chirps and stuff. And
Yeah,
apparently
okay.
they have figured it out, at least
Is it
like
just
within the Gulf of Mexico region,
is it just
allegedly.
fish, fish, sex, fish?
No, like it's a full fucking language. And they hate humans. They hate humans like different races of humans hate other races of humans.
Okay,
Bad.
okay.
Okay, so
They are the
there's some.
smartest marine creatures, so I dig it.
Mm-hmm. Well, them and octopus are very close.
Octopuses are pretty smart, yeah.
Yeah. But octopus don't like communicate in a way that we can measure and all that, like
Well,
dolphins have the chips and Clark
I mean,
and
you saw Resident Alien, it's all psychotic. It's just
oh yeah, it's all telepathy. Yeah.
exactly.
Absolutely. So get back that like that bass rhythm you got, and I'm gonna list out all of the dolphinese is what they call the language words and terms for humans translated into English as best as possible. So just get that doo doo doo. Okay, so there we go. Riptide quitters, current bobbers, Debbie drowners,
That's actually a good one. It's a pun.
mm,
Do, 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 do.
respiratory toddlers. That one's fucking good.
Do, 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 do,
Fun
do, do.
sized shark snacks.
Sorry, the
Ex
bass broke a string. You're on your own now.
yeah. Yeah, I'll just keep going up. External testiculars, squares who don't get high off of pufferfish.
Freaking losers.
Let me repeat that one because that one's fun. Squares who do not get high off of pufferfish. So apparently there's some shit that we could be getting into with pufferfish. I'm just saying.
Apparently, I mean, that's like the peace pipe. Like us and the Dolphins could just come to terms on how to be friends over that kind of thing.
Exactly. Echoless rejects. because they use
Fair.
echolocation. Yeah.
The amount of
Uh,
times I've woken up in my life, looked in the mirror, and thought I am an echoless reject.
yeah, yeah. Plastic pooping monkeys,
We're not even plastic.
but
Also, how does a dolphin know what a monkey is? They don't swim in the sea. That
yeah, that's the
makes
part
no
I don't know.
sense.
Yeah, that's the part that doesn't make sense. The plastic part, well, they gotta explain where plastic came from. Okay, I could see that, but
There's a
uh
lot of plastic in the ocean. It's fair.
yeah. Planet soilers. Yeah. Um, and this is all hyphenated. Need bait and sticks to catch fish. Yeah.
I mean, it's like broken English, but I see what they're trying to say there.
Oh,
That's like
hey,
if like Russia was trying to insult us, be like, "Oh, comrade, you need bait and stick catch fish. I catch with hand. I give to bear. Me and bear wrestle. I win."
it sounds better in their own language, I'm sure. So, emaciated flippers, chin side blowholes, rostrumless savages with tiny melons, dorsal dummies,
Their melons are even on the inside. How can you say we have tiny melons?
swimmers of the very shallows.
Also true.
This
Well,
one
most
is
accurate.
not hyphenated, but this one kind of hurts. But it's poetry, people. It's supposed to hurt.
Sure.
Sunburning evolutionary failures whose skin doesn't shed every 2 hours.
Hang on, hang on. Dolphins understand evolution, and half the people in the world don't even understand evolution. I've lived in Gaffney, South Carolina. They don't think evolution's real now, but dolphins get it?
Dude, dude, I'm telling you,
Man,
dolphins are on some
we're really
wave
behind the society.
weaklings.
That's actually pretty accurate too.
Yeah. Barely ever clean themselves in water slobs.
Well,
Food
not in
chewers.
ocean water.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so food chewers, both eyes closed sleepers,
How do they even know that?
needs both brain hemispheres working at the same time doofuses, bad whistlers.
Dolphins might be telekinetic.
Yep. And I want you, let's get the bass going back for the just doom,
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 doom.
doom, 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 doom,
And the
doom,
lades, and ladies,
doom,
feel free
doom,
to use this one.
doom, doom, doom,
Penis
doom,
is not worth clicking home about.
doom. Theirs are on the inside. How do you even know? Yours doesn't even show. You're the epitome of a grower, not a shower.
How many people have drowned in the ocean? And dolphins are smart, man. We don't know what's going on down there. We
I
don't
hear
know.
you. Dolphins are apparently telekinetic too. If they know we use both lobes of our brain, are they doing like dolphin, just dolphin brain surgery after people float to the bottom?
It must be or something. That would be terrifying. You wake up at the bottom of the ocean, which you would probably be dead, but for the sake of this argument, you just wake up and then your skull's gone. It's like, oh, and then they're like, which translates to, oh, fuck, both of his hemispheres are working. That's fucking weird.
All this says to me is that Atlantis is real. Fuck anything else you want to say. That's all. That's just proof to me.
Yeah. So, your Nardowick Poetry Slam for this week, a little bit different because I didn't just sit there and say things that I won't have to answer for when I meet whatever holy object I meet in the afterlife.
You trying to say a 42 Doug's not a Christian man?
Um, doubt it.
The cardinals of the Catholic religion wear red, and her name is Sexy Red. So, ergo, Catholicism.
So, are you suggesting that Catholic cardinals wear red so that their friends call them sexy, whatever their name is?
Well, only if they're attractive cardinals. There's like any profession, there's ones that look good and ones that don't.
No, no, no. This is an all or nothing. I want that. I
Oh, then
want
yes.
them to
If
come
you're gonna
for.
take a vow of celibacy, you should at least have other people telling you that you look doable.
Well, it's the Catholic Church. They play a little fast and loose with that vow.
Also true. Also fair.
Just a hair. But yeah, I mean that would be great. It's like, yes, yes, sexy Felipe. During their fucking weird cardinal meetings where they all just kind of hang out, they're choosing the Pope, and it's like, I nominate sexy Terrence.
Oh, sexy Terrence is just so much better looking than sexy Jimothy. I'll take sexy Terrence too. Make that 2 votes.
And that is how we ended up in hell and how your Cardinals get chosen. Oh my goodness. There we fucking go.
What if it's right?
Wow. Oh, oh, I hope it's not, but it might be. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. All right, let's come back to reality. So earlier this week, the NCAA made a real statement.
Oh,
Whoa. Yes, they decided to. Instead of just like punting it to Congress to try and fix their
instead of just
uh
saying, "Hey, we're a governing body, but we do no governance at all. We're going to go ahead and govern something. Let's go."
yeah, they finally said, you know what? Enough is fucking enough. So in their infinite or finite wisdom, whichever one you want to go with, they did something so harsh, so uncharacteristically, but fucking terrible. I can't even believe it. They
Nope.
disciplined Jim Harbaugh until 2028. Let's
Woo!
let
The
that
same Jim Harbaugh who no longer coaches college lacrosse or college football.
he doesn't
That one.
coach college lacrosse either.
Arguably, both of them he no longer coaches.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you fell asleep, like right after the national championship game and woke up, sorry to burst your bubble, but Jim Harbaugh signed with the once San Diego Chargers, now the Los Angeles Chargers,
Los
um,
Angeles.
through 2028. So earlier, if you're putting two and two together, you're like 2028 and 2028.
It's the
Um,
same number.
it is. It is. So, how did they come to this conclusion? They came to it by way of recruiting violations. Um, Harbaugh was given a 4-year show cause penalty, which means that if any program at the NCAA level intends to hire him in the next 4 years, they must explain why to an NCAA board before being allowed to do so. Additionally, if he's approved to be hired, Harbaugh would then be suspended the entire first year. So, a while ago, we talked about how Roger Goodell being
Dick.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But in his own eyes, not even his wife or his kids' eyes or any of the fans of the league, sees himself as God is all things. Dot 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 football. He just sees himself as God is of all things.
Well, it's in
Um,
his name. You can't spell Goodell without God.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure he's said that more than once. And he also said
It
that
goes his
the
wedding proposal.
yeah,
Do you want to be Mrs. Goodell? You can't spell Goodell without God. Marry me, bitch. No.
no, it actually went like this. I'm God. That was a marriage proposal. What do you
I'm
think?
God. Do you want to be Mrs. God?
You want to be Mrs. Claus? That got weird. So, anyways, so old Raji Clownface Boy said that the NFL may start punishing NFL. I believe it was just players, but it might have been coaches too.
He
Thinking back to
specifically talked
Pete
about it
Carroll.
being players, but in theory, coaches should fall under the same umbrella.
In theory, they should. Okay, so he said that the NFL may start punishing college players or like NFL players for college infractions. Ipso facto, once college coaches, now NFL coaches. So, in this world where Harbaugh was handed down this penalty of, oh no, the consequences, I just won't go back to college for 4 fucking years.
Yep.
Um, should Goodell punish Harbaugh?
Should Goodell punish Harbaugh? No. I think if Goodell tries to punish Harbaugh, the NFL owners are going to basically get him fired that day. as much as he thinks he is the head of everything that is football, at the end of the day, the 32 NFL owners still have power over Goodell. And to do something like that, the NFL owners would lose their shit. Now, I do think the NCAA basically just saying, "Oh, we don't want to do anything, so we know he won't be back here for 4 years anyway. So let's just make it look like we did something really big." It's a really big statement. The next 4 years, he can't coach college football. 1 year suspension. Oh, he won't be back there for 4 years anyway. I think the NCAA should make it a lifetime thing. And I like Harbaugh. I do. I really do. I think he's a great football coach. I don't think he'll ever go back to the NCAA. I think being in his 60s now, I think he's going to retire in the pros because that's truly where he wants to be. But do I think that even from a legal perspective, you can, from two separate entities, punish him for something that he did at a different organization? No. I think if you want to take it to a legal perspective for a minute here, that'd be like saying that you're working for Staples and you leave to go to Office Depot, and Office Depot's like, when you were at Staples, you called out sick 12 times, bro, so we're docking your pay for 12 days.
I
Doesn't
would
work that
argue
way.
the nexus entanglement theory there, just because the NCAA collaborates with the NFL on their bylaws and the NFL on the opposite end with their CBA for drafting players. And I would say that they are both intertwined enough operationally to where there might be a case. But, anyways, it's not my turn. Go ahead.
I think it would make it a very interesting case, but I truly think at the end of the day, the NFL would lose. I think that, like I said, it's like saying like, "Hey, I worked at AutoZone, now I'm at Napa. You did stupid shit when you were at AutoZone, so at Napa now we're gonna go ahead and like, we're gonna punish you here." I think it's two separate entities, and sure, I understand there is more of a collaboration between the NCAA and the NFL than there is there. But I also think at the end of the day, it's still a separate non-for-profit entity in the NCAA, and the NFL, I assume, is for-profit. I don't think they're technically not-for-profit, even though they basically make as much money as the NCAA does anyway.
Oh, yeah, they're
Um,
for profit, but the NFL does have a number of sub charities that are not for profit.
yeah, I just don't see a world where legally, with the amount of weird, ridiculous lawsuits we have now, to where in any way Goodell would have a leg to stand on saying that we're going to go ahead and suspend Harbaugh for recruiting violations in his time at the NCAA level. You don't, arguably, you don't recruit in the NFL. You could say that you do to some extent because a free agent still has to decide where they want to go. But realistically, if you have more money than anybody else and you're winning, you're going to get them anyway. Like if we're talking about, if it's a difference of, hey, do I want to go to the one and whatever versus the like 2-15 Bears versus the Chiefs, you're probably going to the Chiefs regardless. I don't think there's really a whole lot of collusion going on there. So for me, should Goodell punish him? No, because I think he'd be writing his own death sentence at that point. Either he'd get sued like crazy, or the owners, if it actually went through, would basically say, "We're finding a new commissioner." I think it's the worst possible thing he could do.
So I don't think the owners will ever say, let's find a new commissioner until Goodell says, I want to step aside. Mostly because look at Goodell's first term. Fans hated almost every single minute of whatever Goodell had to say or input. And yet he was re signed by the owners. Why?
Sure.
Because he brought in a shit ton of money for them. And that's the only thing they care about. The on field stuff, who gives a fuck? Honestly, at the end of the day, the fines and all that are minuscule compared to how much owners of NFL teams are making. Period. So,
They're still doing when you look at the new Sunday ticket deal. I mean, they're still
oh
making more
god,
and more every year. Yeah.
oh god, and we could go on a. I'm surprised that didn't come up in the script this week, mostly because of the court case and that whole fucking
Oh, we talked about
shenanigery.
it 2 weeks ago. It was close enough.
Close enough. But hey, I don't think he, regardless of if or if not, he makes a decision to levy punishment. I don't think he would be suspended. But I will say that I think there should be a punishment here, but it should only be monetary because of all of the reasons that you just listed. Suspending him, okay, suspend him the last preseason game. Okay, at that point, it's going to be slightly irritating enough. It's not going to be harsh enough to keep this from happening again, of illegal recruiting in college and then skipping to the
Right.
pros. Hello, Pete Carroll. But At least it's something, right? Now, the other side of this, if he does not try to suspend Harbaugh right now, if there is a college player that comes up through the ranks and he suspends him for something that's he did in college, now that's an interesting case. And if I'm the lawyer for that fucking kid, I'm saying, well, wait a minute. You've had under your watch, or at least retained, two coaches who basically took a giant shit on the NCAA recruiting rules,
Ran
did
away.
whatever the fuck they wanted, won national fucking titles, and went away to your league. And now you're going to
Arguably,
suspend this player who has nothing in his pocket because, God forbid, he didn't disclose $20 in an NIL deal, just for example.
yeah.
Come on. Where's the fairness there?
Arguably, so did Matt Rule. He just didn't get caught and then failed in the NFL, so now he's back. But
Well, Matt Rule was a bad coach to begin with. So,
well, he's a
I
great
mean,
recruiter, which at the college level is really all you need to be.
yeah.
Um, no, and I don't know. There's another layer to this as well of how poorly the NCAA has mismanaged everything Michigan the last 3 years.
Oh,
And
yeah.
obviously, as a Michigan fan, is one thing. Like I have my own obviously opinions on this, but before this story, that now all this time later, they've decided they want to come back and punish Harbaugh after Michigan won a national title and he's out of NCAA coaching. I also saw that going back to the Connor Stallions thing for a minute here, which is all the news last year, where basically Harbaugh missed the first 3 games of the year last year because of it, and there was a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of sanctions went to Michigan because of it. Sharon Moore was the offensive coordinator of Michigan last year. He's now Michigan's new head coach with Harbaugh going to the NFL. I saw the other day that the NCAA hasn't yet closed the Connor Stallions case. Apparently, Sharon Moore, when everything went down, deleted some text messages between him and Stallions and basically said I had nothing to do with it. They've now found a way to recover these deleted text messages, and a year later, the new head coach of Michigan, Sharon Moore, may now get suspended for something related to the Connor Stallions case, which happened a year ago. I'm not saying that the NCAA isn't, in theory, trying to do the right thing, because I think at the heart of it, they are. But I also think they're so quick to say we have to do something right this second, right now. It has to happen, or else nothing will happen ever. We need to do it now. Why the hell did you suspend Harbaugh 3 games a year ago if we're just now saying we're still finding out more about this case? Why are we not? And yes, Harbaugh ran away, and I get that. He's not at the college ranks anymore. But clearly, suspending him 3 games didn't do anything anyway. They won a national title after going undefeated last year. How is now coming back a year later and saying the new head coach there, Sharon Moore, may now get suspended for some time? How is that helping anything a year later after this is already in the past? Like, at a certain point, say we know as much as we're going to know and we're just done with it. We're good. Why? Why do we have to continue to drag up bad things? And like, it's so weird because I feel like, and obviously I'm biased, but I feel like the NCAA wants Alabama to succeed. They want Ohio State to succeed. They want Florida and Miami to succeed. For some reason, Michigan, they want to fail. And I don't understand what it is,
Too
but
close to Canada.
Michigan and Michigan State, they want them to fail right now. And it's like they're trying to find ways to make that happen.
Well, Michigan State doesn't need too much help on that front.
Mel Tucker did it himself. I'm not saying that they in any way should have protected Michigan State because they shouldn't have. Mel Tucker deserved everything that came to him. But uh, Michigan State was top 10 in the country. Now they're bottom 3 teams in the Big Ten. Michigan just won a national title. Now with a new head coach, they're trying to set the new head coach up to fail. It's just at a certain point, we got to say, hey, we've done as much as we need to do. We've already put sanctions out. Let's just move on. Let's just move forward.
Yeah, and they really do have bigger fish to fry. Because Jesus, this is like minuscule on the scale of shit that the NCAA has to deal with right now.
Yeah,
But
it's true.
I don't know. Maybe they, as the NCAA, are looking for a win in quotes here. Um, hey, we stuck it to the national champs for cheating. Yeah.
Who already lost their head coach, their entire offense, and their entire defense. Cool, guys. Really got them.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough year for the Wolverines, I think, regardless of if suspensions do come down. Um, but yeah, it is kind of weird to see the NCAA have such a hard on for punishing Michigan, especially given all of the fucking ludicrous shit that a lot of other colleges get away with.
Look at the tattoo scandal at Ohio State, and nobody got fired. People barely got suspended. You can, how is a tattoo scandal worse than the freaking Connor Stallions thing? Like every team in the country tries to figure out signs. Every team in the country, and him going on the sidelines at Central Michigan, yes, ridiculous. That one is a lot, but
That's
it's also Central
egregious.
Michigan. It's the Chippewas. Who cares? Central Michigan might not have had coaches on the sideline had he not been there. Like, who cares?
While we're making Central Michigan out to be these fucking like nobodies, they're a legitimate program,
They're a
but you
legitimate
didn't need to
MAC
steal their
program.
signs to win.
They
You
finish
didn't.
top three in the MAC every year, but yeah, you could not scout that team and you'll still beat them.
Yeah, it'll be just fine, Michigan. But yeah, yeah, no, it's weird what the NCAA has out for your boys.
They
Amazing
hate us
rules.
because they ain't us.
Yeah, they're just mad you have that fucking high capacity stadium.
That's what it is, honestly. 110K stadium, they just can't handle it because the NCAA in Indianapolis doesn't even have 110,000 people.
Yeah, yeah. They just counted Peyton Manning as 100,000 people just to say, yeah, we did it. So
Well, his
there you go.
forehead's worth 50,000 by itself.
Yeah, I just want him to get Omaha tattooed across it. That'd be great. That would be great. So, with all that, it's finally time for Giuseppe Stromboli redo of the week. Yeah. Unofficially sponsored by Fells Wargo. Nope, didn't say that one wrong. In honor of the famous remake of the popular series of books out of the UK, we honor the pool playing, bang noodle wielding, and absolutely from New Jersey Wizard with our Giuseppe Stromboli redo of the week. Yeah. Again, unofficially sponsored by Fells Wargo. Want to have multiple accounts open for you without all the effort of opening an account? Want to not remember opening your bank account, credit card, or 50 of each? Store your money with Fells Wargo today. That's right. That's right. This week we head to beautiful, the metropolis that
Gorgeous.
is Des Moines, Iowa. And I do like Des Moines, Iowa. I'm not going to lie.
Never been. Never been.
It's fun.
Fells Wargo, and I actually didn't do this on purpose. It happened by accident. Fells Wargo actually is headquartered out of Des Moines, Iowa. That was not
mm,
intentional.
yeah, so you could go visit them and have all you have to do is walk in the building and they'll open up 27 credit cards in your name. You won't even know how it happened, but it just does.
You want to know you gave me your social.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of overabundance, as we do head to Des Moines, Iowa, um, we arrive to find a story with too many cocks. That's right. That's too many cocks. Cocks. Cocks.
Cox, 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 Cox.
There was a brochure. It mentioned some cocks, but this is just too damn many.
Ah!
Due to, and this is another extreme number, 3 complaints.
That's basically the entire city of Des Moines.
The city of Des Moines is getting ready to pass a new ordinance that would replace the current limit allowing citizens to own 30 chickens. And if you thought we were going on about dildos or dicks, shame on you. Get your head out of the gutter. Fucking dicks. With a bill that would limit chicken ownership to a measly 12 per household. Assholes. I want to have 30 cocks. I'm going to have 30 cocks. God damn it. Anyways, in response, these fine Hawkeye loving state residents decided to protest. How you did that, you may ask, by having a chicken parade where people carried their chickens through the streets or carried their cocks through the streets.
Hey,
Hey, cocks out for Harambe. Presumably, because that will somehow do something, as every other protest ever has done. Some have done well. This one, I don't know about that. So, Wrangler, you are a fine resident of Des Moines, Iowa, and you're just like, my 27 chickens have to be reduced by 15. That, no, I'm not doing that. I am not
Bastards.
living up to this 12 cocks fucking um restriction of freedom. How do you keep 30 chickens without Johnny Law finding
Well, I've got two as per usual. I'll give you my first before you go. So part of what, and I'll give you my thought process and how I came to this one. It'll make it make a lot more sense. I heard this story and I'm like, man, if there's ever a right to bear arms for any reason, it's because they're getting rid of your cocks. Which makes sense. You know, the Second Amendment says I can have a gun. You can come take my chickens. Let's go, Johnny Law. Now, how many amendments are there right now? 27. How many can there be? As many as you want. But in this case, I'm going to say 28. The reason being, my first option is I'm going to go to the Supreme Court and say, hey, constitutionally, I have the right to have 30 chickens. We need to make this happen right now. Next thing you know, 28th Amendment, you can have 30 chickens anywhere in America, especially Des Moines, Iowa, and it'll specifically say in there, especially Des Moines, Iowa. That's my option number one.
Option number one is actually kind of viable with the way the Supreme Court is acting nowadays. You could just make up some bullshit and they'll be like, yep, checks
Got him.
out. Yep.
Yep, got him.
It's the only one or the only amendment that we're actually going to quantify how many chickens you can have. Which really tells you something about the state of the United States when we have to quantify that shit. It's like,
Boom,
yep,
got him.
yep, you can have 30. God damn you if you want 31. Yeah, okay.
Oh, well, that's just excessive.
Um,
Who
but
needs
I'm
31 chickens?
yeah, yeah. So
30 is a very reasonable number. Everybody needs 30 chickens, but 31, that's just excessive.
that's way too goddamn many. So I kind of went down. I'm going to start with my thought process to get to the end here. I went down the same kind of reasoning you did, but went in a different direction. So instead of going to the Supreme Court, I'm going to go to an Iowa court and press charges and demand that my local lawmaker pass a law where within the city of Des Moines, chickens are counted as citizens.
I actually thought of that same idea. We're kind of on the same page.
The finishing point to this is after this law inevitably passes that chickens are citizens, you collect unemployment on all the chickens and then just give them the double bird, if you know what I mean.
And weirdly, Des Moines becomes the top 10 city population wise in America.
Fuck the Iowa caucuses. It's the Des Moines. Where's the chicken gonna peck on the fucking ballot? They're just
It's
bark,
the
bark, bark,
it's the
bark.
Des Moines Cockasis.
Oh, got him.
Got him.
Oh yeah,
All right.
that's the episode title.
My other one, there's a movie that I've never seen because I assume it's terrible on the level of Daredevil, but Mocky Mock's in it, and it's called We Bought a Zoo. In this scenario, my farm, because I presumably in Des Moines live on a farm if I have 30 plus chickens, and maybe not, maybe I was living double wide, but I'm going to assume for this scenario that I live on a farm. I'm going to just claim that it's a zoo, Joe Exotic style. And then even if you say, well, you can still only have 12 cocks in a zoo and be like, all right, well, then we have a bunch of exotic birds. You see these 12 not chickens over here? These are peacocks. You see these 12 not chickens over here? That's what a parakeet looks like. These three or these four right here, those are toucans. You see how their nose is bigger than everybody else's? So suck it, Des Moines lawmakers, because these right here, these weird like titmouse looking birds, yeah, no, those are not chickens. Those are the exotic bird of the Amazon, the big brown bat, Washington state mammal.
So you're just gonna lie your ass off.
No, I'm gonna, as the only zookeeper in Des Moines, I'm going to tell them what I think is the truth, whether that might be right or not.
Oh god, that's a tradition from Plastered that I'm glad we kept. Is how do you evade crime dumbly? Yeah.
It's the only good Giuseppe stories I can find is the ones that involve us breaking the law.
I know, right? God, when I was putting together that script, I would try and find ones I couldn't. It's like, well, nope, we're
Here we
talking
are.
about turtle smuggling.
I
We're
saw the
talking,
chicken parade and I was like, this could be something. And I was like, oh, wait, there's a law involved. How do we break this law?
yeah. So, yeah, we're not lawyers. If you take this advice, you're a fucking idiot.
If you
Um,
take this advice, you deserve to lose in court, and I hope you do. Actually, I hope you win because that'd be great, but you deserve to lose.
you do, you do. So, anyways, with that, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. Call it another week in the books for Floral Foolishness.
Sports!
Oh, yeah, where it's always island time. We thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. As always, I'm Mike Stotz, aka Stotsy. He's Jeremy Phelps, the Dragon Wrangler. And as always, you stay tropical. My sort of hometown, I guess. Grr, South Carolina.
Earl Holmes, let's go, DMX.
R.I.P. X Dunn gave it to you.
X Dunn got it to him.